Hello, everyone out there. Thank you, everyone, for being flexible and moving it back a day to hang out with us for episode 46 of The Scope. We're going to talk about FPS gaming news, all of that good stuff. Quite a bit happened. Not a ton, but I think a decent amount to get a fun episode out of. I'm joined. My name's Crash, if you didn't know, and I'm joined by my friend and co-host BuffNerd Gaming. What's up, man?
Good. And just before everybody asks, okay, this is not urine, guys. Okay, it may look like urine, it may be sterile, and I like the taste, but it is amino acids. Nobody panic. Everyone, stay calm. I'm well, man. Good
yeah. So Buff drinks his own piss.
Hashtag.
We know that. Aren't there like some people out there somewhere that do that drink their own pee?
So yeah, definitely.
That's a no from me. But yeah, there are people that do that. I think the one I remember is from, I used to watch a ton of UFC, and Lyoto Machida, he always said, like, he would say, like, on podcasts and stuff, that he woke up every morning and drank his own pee. So
was that just specifically like going into fights, or is that just all the time? Just loved his own urine?
I think all the time, and
well,
like you quoted Patches O'Houlihan. I think it was sterile, and I think he liked the taste. I don't know, man.
Could be it, man.
Not a good idea.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
In my opinion, I'm gonna be out on that. How was I like that we started the show with talking about drinking piss. That's good. That gets people excited.
Right.
Knows what we're about here.
Everyone knows where this is going now. So
I wish this is what my pee looked like. Look how clear that is. And I wish. I don't drink enough water, so I'm working on that.
There you go.
Buff has inspired me over here. He's inspired me to stay better hydrated. How was Thanksgiving, dude? Did you make it through it?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I did the turkey, potato, and the whole works. I didn't get a chance to make my my like sweet potato casserole dish that I typically make, but I'll save that for Christmas time. But yeah, it was good. It was good to have some downtime and be off from work and be actually to have some time to like be able to play some Warzone and shit. So that was good. How about you?
Yeah, I didn't. It was almost a needed break from gaming for me because I'd played so much, but we had to do the whole tour. We had to go out west and visit my folks, about 4-hour drive, and then we came back and my in-laws came here and we had Thanksgiving here. So we did like the whole tour and everything, but I ate a lot of food, quite a lot, but it was really good. I do want to give a shout out, okay, now this is going to probably kick off a whole story, but I'd like to give a shout out in my travels to the Dighton, Kansas Lane County Sheriff's Department for their involvement. Now, it's not like it sounds like I'm not in trouble with the law. Okay. You don't got to go run into your nearest news outlet and say co-host of the Scope Crash Gaming is in trouble with the law. No, I just want to say, if you guys know where that's at, you don't, but you can Google it. It's in BFE, Western Kansas, a tiny little town called Dighton. I'm coming back home. So I'm in my truck. I have me, my pregnant wife, 2 dogs, and a whole bunch of crap in the truck. And we're driving through, and this town is in the middle of nowhere. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't slow down enough. I was going a little too fast. Okay. I was coming in a little hot, and there was a sheriff sitting in the parking lot. Okay. And I saw him when I came around the corner of the tree, and I was like, I'm done. I was probably going like 9 over, and I'm like, so we're trying to get home at the same before my in-laws did, and like it was this whole thing, and I was kind of stressed out. And then I saw the sheriff, and I was like, man, he's gonna get me. You know what he did? He just turned on his lights, flashed them at me, and turned them off and let me go. He gave me a little slow down, okay? But he didn't pull me over. So I would just like to give, I'm sure he's watching. I would like to give a shout out to the Lane County, Kansas Sheriff's Department. Thank you for not pulling me over. I appreciate you. I won't forget it. So
what a stand-up gentleman, and or potentially a lady, who knows? But good on them. Good on them.
I appreciated it very much because I have actually got a ticket for like going like 7 miles over.
Oh no.
And it was very frustrating, but I really appreciated it. I got a little mulligan on that one, so I'm going to watch my driving. I'm going to check my speed, and we'll be good going forward. But yeah, little Thanksgiving story. Also, I don't want to start a fight, but I might. You like sweet potatoes?
Oh yeah, I do. But ready the context. So I don't eat them all the time, but the casserole I have is a honeyed pecan sweet potato casserole. I got the recipe off bodybuilding.com like back in 2013 or 14, and I've been making it pretty much every year since, and it's delicious. So Thanksgiving, it's more like Gainsgiving, so just gotta load up on the carbs, man.
Okay. I'll eat about anything. So like I'm pretty adventurous. Like if I go to a sushi place, like I've had like raw octopus, like the little tiny ones, and I've eaten the whole thing, and all that stuff's no problem. I'll eat pretty much anything except, man, I do not like sweet potatoes. I like asparagus.
Really?
I like Brussels sprouts. I like anything green. Like I like pretty much anything. Like I didn't get fat by accident. I eat whatever's around me, but I gotta draw the line at sweet potatoes, man. I don't know, dude. I don't know about that.
Really? Maybe you're not eating them right, man. Sweet potatoes are delicious.
I guess if you put a bunch of pecans and stuff on there to mask the disgustingness of the sweet potato, maybe all right. I'm throwing shade at sweet potatoes.
I could change your mind, I bet.
I don't know. You better put a lot of stuff on there. But yeah, I'm kind of throwing shade at sweet potatoes in the same fashion that Sony threw some shade at Battlefield. Whoa!
Oh, what?
Look at that segue.
Whoa, hey, you're saying Battlefield's getting some hate?
Yeah,
this is crazy.
Not only from me. Okay, Sony was not impressed. So you want to get into the news?
Let's do it, man. I'm ready.
All right. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, and you guys knew it when you saw it on Twitter, you knew we were going to talk about it here. There has been a lot going on back and forth. We'll get into it like a little bit deeper than you potentially want to. But you all know the backstory that Microsoft is working on acquiring Activision Blizzard, and it's kind of a big deal because it could be a little bit too big of a company according to the FTC. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. But one of the things that came from this is across all these different countries across the globe, with their financial organizations, it has to be approved by them for it to be recognized in the country. So Sony obviously doesn't want this to happen because Call of Duty and, many other Activision games are massive. It's going to turn Microsoft into an absolute juggernaut. So they're doing everything they can to get this to stop, to get this seen as like a monopoly in the United States, which it could potentially be. We'll talk about that in a second. But in doing so, they tried to illustrate how Call of Duty doesn't have any competition, and they actually just obliterated Battlefield. I mean, it wasn't very nice. It wasn't nice at all. Did you see this, Buff?
I did, and I think it was, hopefully Dice and EA were paying attention because it was the. I mean, if there hasn't been a wake up call yet, if Sony's telling you your game sucks, and hopefully that's enough to be like, maybe we've been going down the wrong road with our titles lately.
It could potentially, be an issue. Maybe you need to go back to what made Battlefield great. We could get
maybe.
Man, well, how would we stir the pot if we had red hats that said "Make Battlefield Great Again"?
Can we do that?
I don't know. We'll probably get banned.
I think we can.
We're gonna get banned anyway, eventually one day. As Sony fights tooth and nail to get regulators to block Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, poor Battlefield's getting caught in the crossfire. So here's what they said. Sony listed all this stuff about that they sent to UK's competition regulator, the Competition and Markets Authority, or CMA. And here is the clip. I will read it to you, and so the podcast listeners can hear it too, because I mean, quick shout out. There have been like a lot of people downloading the podcast lately. Like really appreciate that. So if you're listening to this on one of the many podcast platforms that we're on, we appreciate you. Call of Duty is not replicable. This is according to Sony. Call of Duty is too entrenched for a rival. No matter how well equipped to catch up, it has been the top selling game for almost every year in the last decade, and in the first person shooter genre, it is overwhelmingly the top selling game. Other publishers do not have the resources or expertise to match its success. To give a concrete example, EA, one of the largest third-party developers after Activision, has tried for many years to produce a rival to Call of Duty with its Battlefield series. Despite the similarities between COD and Battlefield, and despite EA's track record in developing other successful AAA franchises, FIFA, Mass Effect, Need for Speed, Star Wars, the Battlefield franchise cannot keep up. As of August 2021, more than 400 million Call of Duty games had been sold, while Battlefield had sold just 88.7 million copies. So less than 20%. That's my quick math on that. Thoughts?
Is that just... that stat again, was that just the most recent titles, or was that...
I think that's going to be... That might be to date, as they've kept track of it since... Now, the important thing to note here is that is as of August 2021. So not even including Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2. Right.
Yeah, so it's going to be even more skewed there. I'm curious when they started tracking it, because I mean, you have sales figures for like BF3, 4, 2, and everything like that. So I'm assuming they're including that. 88 million seems a little low, but maybe not. Maybe that's actually, I mean, I guess it sounds right. And what were the Call of Duty numbers again?
400 million.
Oh my God. Yeah, I guess, I mean, it's tough, man, because this is a discussion I think we need to dedicate like a whole episode to. But I think as far as Battlefield 1's sales numbers to date, I think we're still the best, if I'm not mistaken. And I think as far as retention wise for the player base going into Battlefield, after Battlefield 5, it was still Battlefield 3. So that's an old number. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But I mean, look at what Call of Duty's been doing. Call of Duty, I think we saw sales increase massively with Modern Warfare 2019. And then I think the only thing that really kept Cold War and Vanguard afloat as far as sales and support and all that is because of the Warzone integrations. So, if you want to have the heads up in Warzone, you're going to just have to buy the new title now because they did it. The way they rolled out Call of Duty with Modern Warfare 2019 forward was just genius, to be honest. And Battlefield, just look at the live services and compare the live services to one another, right? So look at Call of Duty's live service. What they've been doing the past couple of years is an actual live service. I think similar to like my favorite game in the world, Fortnite. But look at Battlefield's live service. Their live service since they started this, they shouldn't use the term live service because since Battlefield 5, their live service has just been fixing broken shit, basically. There's really nothing there. And I watched a video from Level Cap just last night about Battlefield 2042 numbers are up, and this is a great update. Everyone's happy with it, but look at the update compared to. I think Westy's made these posts a bunch of times, and so is
Flakfire
Jack,
too.
yeah, Flakfire, Jack Frags, the amount of content we had at this point in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 was night and day. And if we need to go back to paying for a premium, I will do it to have a good Battlefield game because Battlefield has just become a complete joke of itself at this point, and unfortunately I was smart enough not to buy into Battlefield 5, although from what you've been telling me and everyone else says, eventually that game caught steam and was pretty good, and the movement there was actually excellent, which I agree with watching those clips. But I was like, oh, they're going back to modernish kind of near future. I love it, blah, blah, blah. And I was so frustrated with where Warzone was at the time, and they just dropped the ball, man. So I think it just goes back to the same thing you and I reiterate every episode is they just need to go back and make Battlefield again and not sit down in a conference room and be like, I feel like that's what they say every year. And then someone's like, what we could do though? We could make some specialists that grapple and fly around the map like squirrels and just get rid of all of our core mechanics and things like that, like classes, and just try something completely new. It feels like I just want to be a fly on the wall in these meetings where they come up with what the next game is, because it defies logic. So they really just need to go back. Every Battlefield fan, you pick any Battlefield fan who's played the past like 5 or 6 titles, even casually, they can make a better Battlefield game. At least set the development team and everything in the right direction for what they need. I feel like if you and I sat down, Crash, for 2 hours, we could come up with the entire roadmap of everything and just hand it off to EA and DICE and do all their work for them, and they just got to code it. So
yeah, that's it. They just got to do that.
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, I agree with you. And I don't want to get it twisted. So it happens all the time, and a lot of people, and not necessarily myself, agree with this comparing Battlefield to COD. It just happens, right? Because they're different franchises, but at the same time, they're some of the only AAA first-person shooter franchises, so it's going to get compared. But I feel like that comparison and that line of thinking is a little bit of what's gotten Battlefield into trouble, trying to chase other franchises, trying to be Apex with the specialist, trying to be COD with, the engagement-based matchmaking and no more server browser, just being like a lobby-based shooter again. A lot of that stuff with the simple gun customization and stuff like that, getting away from the class system and all that, is because I feel like in this game, Battlefield tried to chase some trends rather than be themselves and be Battlefield and be what made Battlefield awesome. But I agree with this. There's nothing that's going to touch COD in the foreseeable future. I hope that changes. I would love to see Battlefield make a comeback. I would love to see something else, make a comeback, because that competition is really what we need. Because at this point, if you think about it, it's a little bit scary, the monopoly that COD has right now, in my opinion. If they decided to do something really scummy, they have in the past, like Black Ops 3, like those loot boxes to get guns was like some of the worst microtransactions, most predatory stuff we've seen in an FPS game. If they went back to that, what would people do? spend money and keep playing. That's what they would do because there's nothing else. I'm a little bit
Yeah,
scared. I'm a little
exactly.
bit scared at the monopoly they have in the first person shooter genre because if they did some of the even the more predatory practices that they've done in some of their MMOs on the Blizzard side with like Diablo on mobile and stuff like that, what are
Yeah,
we gonna
right.
do? Nothing. And even if they did something like, what if they said, well, we want to start charging a subscription for Call of Duty going forward instead of the games
Mhm.
as they release? If we want to do like WoW does, where it's like $15 a month or $20 a month, it's like,
Right.
what are you gonna do? I hope they don't go crazy back into the loot boxes. I'm so glad those are gone in FPS games. I saw someone tweet somewhere, I think it was Drifter, tweeted a new article, a new study about how loot boxes cause children emotional harm. And I was like, children, what about me?
Yeah, right.
Those things scarred me for life, man. I get traumatized at Christmas when somebody gives me a present. I gotta unwrap it. I don't know what it is. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get another sticker. So those, yeah,
Exactly.
I'm just a little bit concerned how huge COD is. The reason we're talking about this is not because we agree with comparing COD to Battlefield from a gameplay standpoint. It's that it's going to happen, and this is one of the rare instances we get a sneak peek at numbers, because a lot of times COD
Mhm.
and Battlefield don't report actual numbers of sales. So when we get to see those, it's interesting to see where they get to stack up, if for nothing else, curiosity's sake, right?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you brought up some good points there that I just want to kind of build on it, or go back to is, we're looking at sales numbers, but let's look at the quality of the game also, and you can compare and contrast that to those sales numbers, but the quality of the game, I think, is more important. Battlefield, unfortunately, I mean, let's be realistic, they're not ever going to outsell Call of Duty. Call of Duty is at its core a casual shooter. Battlefield started as more of a, not quite a mil sim, but pretty close. And especially you look back at 2042 or 1942, but also Battlefield 2 was very, that's where Squad and everything came out of. Arma came out of the original Battlefield 2, is what that idea came from for those games. So it was always more of a hardcore, realistic type. Not quite a mil sim by today's standards, but back then I think Battlefield 2 came out in 2002, I think. So back then, I mean, that's a mil sim, right? So Battlefield did what it did best, and that's when it thrived. You had Battlefield 2, um, whatever the other, there was one futuristic one in between that also did well with sales, but then you had the Bad Company series, and then Battlefield 3 and 4 are, in my mind, still the best. And I think the quality of those games were top notch. And those are the ones that I think a lot of people go back and compare with Call of Duty, especially that's when the rivalry was at its best, was Battlefield versus COD, and Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. And the build up to Battlefield 3 versus Modern Warfare 3 was huge. Now, if you look at the sales wise, like I said, Call of Duty is always going to outsell Battlefield, but the quality of those games, like Battlefield 3, I feel personally was a better game than Modern Warfare 3. And obviously, you have fans of each who are going to say this is better than that. But fast forward now, we look at 2042 versus Modern Warfare 2, right? I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that's not living under a rock who would admit Modern Warfare 2 is better than 2042. So I think the quality of the games that Battlefield used to produce was more in line with their original idea of a mil sim, even though they started to get a little bit more arcadey. But the problem is, I think if we looked at those sales numbers across this trend, as the quality of the game started to become more arcadey and the quality was lowered each title, I think the sales were lowered. So what do they need to do is go back to, like we said, is what Battlefield did best. Don't chase sales numbers, chase quality of the game, and do something that the fans want and that you always were good at. Do what Battlefield does and stop, like you said, Crash, stop trying to chase trends, which is clearly what they did with 2042, and look how that went. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this next title, because I think if they don't get this one right, that's the end of Battlefield, which is a shame because, again, quality of games, I thought I always preferred Battlefield over Call of Duty, but and I'm a Battlefield fanboy at heart, more so than COD, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you Battlefield's doing, producing better products than Call of Duty right now, because it's just not true.
Yeah. Well, we will get into a little bit. COD still needs to fix some things. I've had some bugs that have been irritating me. That we'll get into in a little bit. I just put on the topics list that we'll just have a COD talk, like a little bit about like our experience, because I didn't know exactly what to talk about, but there's some stuff to talk about with Call of Duty going on for sure. But yeah, I don't know, like regardless of your opinion, for me, I always saw like you said, Call of Duty was to a more casual audience, so that's inevitably going to be more people. So it's going to be a lot more people. But I always thought then, like once you kind of got more into gaming and stuff, I just felt like Battlefield was like a little bit more of a, if you were a little bit more hardcore into gaming, into shooting, you would like Battlefield. And I always thought COD would always win in sales. And in my opinion, Battlefield would like win our hearts, right? Like, even though it was the underdog, it's like, I still play COD with my friends, but I'm a Battlefield player at heart. That's where I really have fun. And you know what? Once you learn about gaming and stuff, check out Battlefield. It might be a bit better game for you. And I used to always say, when people would compare COD and Battlefield, I would like, man, Battlefield's a lot more fun. There's balanced vehicle gameplay that COD doesn't have. There's larger maps that COD doesn't have. There's a server browser, so there was 100% no possible way for skill-based matchmaking. There's a class system, so you can kind of fit into these roles and have a lot of teamwork. There's squad management and platoons, to where if you get enough Battlefield friends and form enough of a community that you can even get more people to play, like and you can have more people in one match than even just in your squad. You guys can get in the same server and on the same team and have a whole bunch of people playing together and have these roles and stuff, and it's like so much more teamwork. And all of that shit was gone. All the stuff that I loved, that always Battlefield was my favorite every time when they would release both, they took it out. And that's why I've been telling people have asked me like, Crash, are you playing season 3? It's like, yeah, I checked it out and season 3 is better. And a lot of people are saying 2042 is in a great state and a lot of people are having fun with it. But it's like, but I'm like, that's fine. That's great. How I would sum it up is season 3 is getting Battlefield to the developers' view, their vision, but that's not what I looked for in a Battlefield title. That's not what resonated with me. It might be a Battlefield for you, but it doesn't feel like a Battlefield game to me. Like, even though it's getting and it's playing better, how it was designed. The other thing we can mention is it sounds like they're finally over a year getting to the recoil issue, the input issue. Baranox and Enders have found a recoil bug that makes it feel crappy, and the developers are aware of it and looking into it. So there's some stuff where like your recoil will almost stack in your gun, and then it will like all of a sudden like totally like give you all the recoil at once and feel weird. So that's why people have been feeling laggy in gunfights and stuff like that. Jeez. And we're just now finally figuring it out. So
yeah. So let me ask you this: when you went back and played season 3, did you think that game is now at a state where it could have been released, or do you think it still has a ways to go?
Oh, 100%. I think even season 2, it would have been released a lot better. But the problems, and or I think release would have went a lot better. It would have been fine. It would have been acceptable as a shooter.
Right.
To me, to me, where it's at right now, I'll just say this: it's acceptable as a AAA first person shooter, but to me, it's not acceptable for a Battlefield, if that makes sense. It feels, it just feels so generic. It feels like a shooter. It does not feel like Battlefield. If you're having fun with it, that's perfect. Like, I don't want to start that shit where it's like, well, you don't like a game that I like, so you suck. No, man, like, you play what you want to. That's why it's awesome right now to be a first person shooter fan. We're going to talk about Battlefield that's getting into a decent state. We're going to talk about COD that has so much to it. We're going to talk about some indie games. We got some really exciting stuff coming up with indie games. Like, there's just so much to talk about, and everybody enjoys what they want, and that's fine. So I don't want it to be like any kind of animosity towards anyone. We're all FPS fans, and tastes change and opinions change and stuff like that. So
yeah, and I mean, that again, another good point is, especially like we look at the specialist, right? When that was announced, I was actually really excited for that. And I was like, oh, this seems like, I like that they're doing something different, and it seems like a good evolution, natural evolution. I want to see how they implement it. And obviously it didn't work right. But I mean, like you said, if some people like Battlefield 2042 right now, that's great. And I'm not going to be one of those guys that's like, I played Battlefield since the beginning and I know what real Battlefield game is, because that's not true, right? A game should evolve and change, and by no means am I saying you need to just remake Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. However, if they did remake Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, the sales would be better than 2042. And I think you can't argue with the two things we've discussed here is what that article is saying is sales, and then also quality of the game has clearly diminished. Like you just said, all the core Battlefield features that made Battlefield, play with your friends, large scale battles, server browsers, rent your own server, all that stuff is gone, and it's been gone for a while, right? I don't even think it was in Battlefield 5. I think the last title we had, it was, I don't even know if it was a hardline because I skipped that. So Battlefield 4, I don't think it was in Battlefield 1 either. So I could be wrong, but I mean, it's been a long time, and honestly, I think it's kind of unacceptable to have a core feature of a game that you've had forever and just kind of remove it. And every time I think some of those developers are asked about it in any sort of interviews, it's just like, oh, we can't talk about it now. It's, that's stuff that you guys need to implement into the game, because that's what your core audience wants. And judging by sales numbers, your core audience is basically your audience. So you better start appeasing them. So we'll see. I don't know.
I think Bad Company 3 would be awesome. There's been some rumblings of Bad Company 3 in the chat. That would be pretty cool for sure.
I'd like a Battlefield Bad Company 3, but I mean, I don't know what you do with that game, because Bad Company 1 and 2 were so different. And if you compare and contrast like Bad Company 2 with Battlefield 3, those are two very, very different games.
I could honestly see them doing Bad Company 3 as the campaign game that Marcus Leto's studio is working on in Seattle. That's going to be a single player experience. I can see that fitting into that, and then them doing it like a new standalone multiplayer that hopefully brings our core mechanics back. Interesting fact, if you do look at Steam, again, I know, but this is public opinion. This is what you guys sound like. But Crash, Steam is only a little bit of the player base. There's a whole bunch of other platforms. I know, but we kind of use it for trends because it's the only numbers we can look at. You guys don't sound like that. I'm just kidding. There are more people. There have been more people on Battlefield 5 on Steam than 2042. And I mean, Battlefield 5 is the last one with a lot of, they did implement a rental server late.
Did they?
Yeah, real late. But then they have good gameplay, very well optimized, beautiful game, squad management. I mean, it's kind of missing a few of those things, but server browser 100%, classes, all those core Battlefield mechanics are there.
Yeah.
And there's more players playing it.
That's embarrassing, right?
Weird. But if you guys do want to try 2042 and see what we're talking about, there are a lot of free weekends coming up. So if you check the Battlefield Twitter, on different platforms, there's free weekends, and it's also on Game Pass Ultimate now. So if you have been holding off from weird YouTubers talking shit, then you can check it out for free if you want to, and see for yourself, which I encourage you to do for sure.
Don't do it. Oh, sorry.
Save yourself.
I had something in my throat. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you did.
Sorry, guys.
Sounds like sadness and disappointment.
Yeah.
So just to tie a bow on this, with the Microsoft Activision thing, because this I didn't know how to cover this because it's like all kind of ties together. The FTC could challenge Microsoft and Activision's purchase by December, and this comes to us from The Verge. It was reported, I can't remember who reported it originally, but the commission has reportedly already deposed the CEOs of the two companies and may be joining the long line of regulators scrutinizing the deal. So this is not over. The report notes that there are still a few steps to go to before the regulator is ready to act, including a vote from its own commissioners, if it ends up happening. So basically what all of this says, you guys can check these out on The Verge if you're interested in kind of like the actual like business jargon of everything and the specifics of what's going on. But there are some preliminary steps for the United States FTC to take a look at this. And many times when we've seen them take these steps, it's ended up in court. So that they're preparing a potential legal challenge to it, and that's not necessarily good for it going through. What that could mean is it could potentially be completely vetoed. They could have to change some things. They could have to put some stipulations in the deal to not give them too much power over everything. But this is far from over, so we might still get some more juicy and funny details from that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes. But I think we covered it last time. I know everyone's saying, um, if that does go through, then they won't sell Call of Duty on PlayStation, which I think we've already established. That would cost them like billions of dollars. So that's not something I think that we need to really worry about. But we'll
Did
see.
your dogs hear my dogs, and now they're talking
I
over the
think so. I
podcast?
think I think so, dude, because he's going crazy.
Nice. Thanks, Clark, for the membership for 17 months. That's incredible, man. Thank you. So I don't know. I think that's that. This has a lot more hurdles, and this is incredibly far from being over. But we definitely keep our eye on it because it affects some of our favorite titles. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was essentially I just put some time in here for COD Talk, as we just established in this story. It is by far this is an FPS podcast, and it is the largest FPS game going on right now. It is just released recently, so I wanted to hear your experience with it as of late, because I got some problems. Okay, I got some things to talk about. So, how are you feeling with it?
I think my only issue. I mean, I've mentioned it here before, like just the amount of PlayStation issues I've been having, and I thought it was the PlayStation, thought it was the internet. I really don't. It could be a combination of things, but ultimately, I think it could also be the game itself, just not running well on the PS5s. I'm not sure what it is. I seem to be having a unique problem, so that could just be completely with the internet potentially. But I will note it didn't start until I pre-downloaded the campaign. So I don't know if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, probably a duck. Other than that, I mean, I'm not really having, thankfully with consoles, like bugs are pretty limited, and, not really any crashes, things like that. Um, I'm still having a lot of fun with the game regardless. I think, Warzone, I'm finally was able to get in and play a little bit of it over the break there. So that was really good. Had a couple wins, which was nice. And, so I had a good time really getting the hang of the game. Warzone, I'm having fun with, especially DMZ too. Been doing a lot of raiding with some of the community members there. And, I even jump into multiplayer a little bit tonight to like level up my AUG one level. I just go and get into a 6v6 map. I played one game, and it was like 26 and like 14 or something like that. So I'm having a good time all around. There's definitely some little things, but by no means I saw some rumblings on Twitter like, should Warzone 2 have been delayed? It's like at least from a console perspective on PS5, there's nothing that I'm seeing with this game that's like, wow, they should have really taken more time in the oven with this one, to quote everyone about
Yeah,
2042.
I
So,
gotta make a meme where that James Franco's standing in there getting hanged, and he's like, first time. It's like
first time,
Battlefield
yeah.
fans talking to COD fans. It's like, this your first time with a buggy launch? This
Yeah,
happens
it's
to us
just
all the
that
time.
there's nothing like that. I think some gameplay things, again, the game is so new, especially if we're talking about Warzone and DMZ. It's been out like 2 weeks. You can't. Nobody can give an accurate review of that game yet, because I'll be honest, I don't think anybody still knows what the hell they're doing. It's still, there's a great amount of depth to this game, which is what I really love about it. And I'm having a blast. I had a win literally right before, earlier, right before we got on tonight. Just like it's all about, especially Warzone, right? And this counts for DMZ and multiplayer too. Teamwork, communication. I've had some crazy comeback wins, and that's what I like about this is like, because you can't buy your loadout, you're buying weapons or going to loadout drops or strongholds. If you're dying and coming back near the end game, you still have a very good chance to not even get ground loot, but also you can drop on a loadout if it comes, and things like that. So it's just getting money and hitting a buy station too. So um, it's pretty good, man. I'm having a good time, and I'm still figuring everything out. So I can't say I can't say there's anything that's glaring to me, but I'm sure you always have a good perspective on things. I'm sure you're gonna mention some things, and then it's gonna click to me for me. So I want to hear what you say, but
It might
from my perspective, nothing crazy from my end.
these could be PC problems, but there are entirely too many crashes, and it's not even just my system, it's the people I've been playing with.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've heard of the like the heavy chopper strat in Warzone. We tried it a few times.
What is it? Explain it to
I
me, because
mean,
I may have seen something like it today.
essentially there's like three heavy choppers on the map, and they have
Right.
an absolute shitload of health. They do burn a lot of gas, so you can go around, get your guns, keep the chopper with you, go to the gas stations, collect gas cans so you can fuel it in the air, and then
Oh my God.
you can get really high in the map and just shoot down on people, and they can shoot the crap out of you, and it just has so much health, and you can fly it to the end. Well, we were trying that, and 3 matches in a row we were getting down to the final circle, and by then usually one of us would crash, and then in the final circle 2 or 3 more of us would crash and kick us out of the lobby and
Oh
everything
my God.
because of the chopper. And the chopper was like glitching, so like you would be in the air, and the chopper would like, you'd like lean and turn to go somewhere else, and you would almost clip through the floor, and your character would like shake, like stutter, and then you knew like a crash was coming, and then the game would
Oh my
freeze,
God.
and then you'd be gone. So there were a couple more wins that we could have potentially had.
Mhm.
That would have been awesome. Because there was one dude, we got in the final circle with the heavy chopper looking down, and the final circle was out in the desert north of the Rohan oil, so they had
Yeah.
no cover, and we were up in this chopper just shooting down on them, and then all our games crashed, and we got second place, I think. I mean, they kicked us all out, and they ended
Wow.
up winning, and we had them for sure. But then the DMZ crashes are especially brutal. I think one way to temporarily fix it would be to allow people to reconnect to servers. I've always wished for
Mhm.
this. I did
Mhm.
see the flying boat glitch too. Someone
I saw it on Twitter. I haven't seen it
I
in
saw
person yet.
I was looking at the map. I just saw the tweet earlier, and then we were playing the game, and I looked at the map, and there was a boat on the top of observatory, and I'm like, no, I don't think so. A little
I don't think
fishy.
there's water up there. Yeah.
Yeah. So that happened. It was like, yeah, it was like the 2042 hovercrafts when they could go up the side of buildings.
Yeah.
Pretty comparable bug.
Ugh.
And then the other thing that's really frustrating to me was there have been money glitches in DMZ,
I
and
saw this.
they're
Yeah.
still active. And what's really annoying is you have all these other game breaking bugs, but if you have an XP glitch, they fix it immediately. And I'm really upset with how they fixed it. And I'm sure there's probably a development reason. Again, I'm an idiot. I'm a video game stooge on the internet. I don't know how games are coded, so roast me. But instead of fixing the money glitch, they nerf the XP in DMZ when you buy stuff, when you put stuff in a dead drop. So
Mhm.
you can still go in there, you can drop your money next to a gold gun, stow it, and you can have $1.3 million. So that is still there, but you don't get any XP for money anymore. So it nerfs people, and it has a negative impact on people playing correctly. So
And you can use that money to go to a buy station. I mean, we had like 6 airstrikes dropped on us, so maybe that was why.
probably so. Yeah, you can buy whatever you want. But we're used to have, if you're playing the game correctly and you got all this stuff done, if you're playing it correctly and you went and bought stuff at the supply drop, or if you collected a bunch of money and put it in a dead drop and played it right, you got a lot of XP and it leveled up your gun, because that's difficult to do in the DMZ.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which made sense. But how they nerfed it was, instead of fixing the glitch, and this was as of yesterday, when I played last, so maybe they did fix it today, but as of yesterday, the money glitch was still there. It's several days old, but they nerfed XP, so it kind of punished people playing the game correctly, was like my issue with
Mhm.
how they fixed it, kind of.
Right. Yeah. I think one of the guys I was playing with, I think he tried it yesterday. It didn't work. So I don't know what they did fix and didn't fix. I thought it was just the XP part and not the money part. But
It's a little bit different how you have to get it as of yesterday.
okay, I haven't
Yeah,
tried it. So
but they nerfed. So they nerfed all the XP you also get when you, like, normally when you first started, when you extracted with cash, it gave you XP for all the leftover cash. That's
Mhm.
like disabled now too. So it's just like really nerfs DMZ as a whole. even if you're playing it correctly. So hopefully they can fix the money glitch and get that reset, and put that back to how it was, because it was one of the advantages to playing DMC. And then the crashes in DMC are so brutal too. We were doing the mission where you have to extract with 6 score streaks, and we had those, and the person carrying them game crashed, so we lost all
Oh
that.
my god.
And then
Jeez.
another thing, I should stand up on my chair. I'm kind of on my high horse right now. Okay, I'm sorry. The other thing that is frustrating is I am on the task where you have to extract with dog tags. So you have to take 4 people's dog tags. Well, if people leave the game, their shit's gone, so you can't get their dog tags. So like you'll kill and wipe a squad, they get mad and leave. You can't. Their backpack's gone. All their shit's gone.
Oh, so, is that when it disappears when they leave the lobby? Their backpack leaves.
Yeah,
oh,
and people are figuring that out, so they die, and then they're like, "Fuck you, I'm leaving." Guilty, done that. Like, you asshole, you killed me. I'm out of here. You can't have my stuff. And yeah, it takes the stuff out. So I'm having a heck of a time getting dog tags, because if you pick up dog tags while somebody else is alive, it marks you on the map. So I like to make sure I clear all 3 of them, or if there's just 2, make sure it's clear and it's safe, and then go loot. But by that time, they're gone, and you don't get any dog tags. So I've probably killed 10 or 15 PMCs since I've been trying this, and I only got 1 dog tag.
Oh my god, really?
Just because they're leaving. Yeah, it's been rough for that. So there's just some little stuff like that. And again, they did slap the old beta tag on there.
I was just gonna say.
So I gotta step back a tad, because it's a beta. But yeah, and that's what I didn't know. Like Sir Samuel says in chat, he hasn't had any crashes on PS5.
Me neither. I was just gonna say.
So you're not having outright crashes.
I haven't had it for DMZ. I have never crashed out of a raid.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's probably a PC issue, which makes sense, right? Because consoles have a set GPU, CPU. It's a set kind of type of hardware that you can design the game around. PC, you have, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of different potential configurations of PC. So it makes sense that it's tougher to get to run stable on PC, given everybody's different configurations. But it's been crashing a lot on PC, and it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's got to be the worst. I mean, it sounds like the majority of your issues are crash related, which sucks. Especially the whole squad crashing in Warzone is wild. I did have I was playing a duo, and this circle ended over by airport, and the very end of the runway was inbounds also, and there was a heavy chopper on the runway parked, and it was, dude, talk about luck, because that chopper was parked there when we came back from Gulag, and we like avoided it because I figured there's probably someone over there. But then the loadout drops came, and one landed right there at the helicopter, and another one landed close by. So I went for it, and I only had 2 plates, so they slammed me in the head and killed me instantly. But I got the loadout, and then I peeked it, about to shoot this dude, and I instantly died. So it was just like frustrating. It's like, man, they probably did a bunch of intel contracts or something, maybe is what it was, but they just had the heavy chopper parked there, and we're using it as cover because, like you said, it has crazy health. So it was tough. But I will say there's definitely some things I would like to see maybe fixed or changed. I think the main thing, though, I'm having a blast, especially with the weapons, dude. Whenever I get a chance to buy my weapon in Warzone, I have so much fun with my guns and even some of the ground loot. But we had a crazy win where we all died, and I think we came back from Gulag or something like that, and landed, got some stuff, and we all bought 1 gun, and then a loadout drop happened to be around us as we're fleeing from like 2 squads in a car. We got the loadout drop, went into houses, held the house down, and got a bunch of kills in the house, rotated out. The final circle was like almost in the open, with those, those big gas line pipes that go through the center of the map there, and you can climb up to. So parts of that was inbounds. And I was running the Scar Heavy with a Vector, and man, I mean, we won that game, and it was fun as hell, man. When you win games, I feel like firefights just are so fun. I love getting in firefights. The only thing I get frustrated at is I don't know if this is a purposeful thing or if it's because they got their loadout potentially, but one team was camping like a buy station, just popping UAVs like crazy, and both of us put my teammate put a recon drone up, and then I did to make sure there was no one by the buy station so we could get our stuff. Nothing shows up on the recon drone on the base or on the thermal, and we get over there and we get jumped by a team of two who's been popping UAVs. So I don't know why they didn't show up. If there was like maybe they went to strongholds and had like cold-blooded perk or something. I don't know what it was, but we didn't see them at all, and they were just camping that buy station. So you still have that ratty type gameplay, but it is what it is. When people play like you said for DMZ, when you play the game right, it's really, really fun and very rewarding experience when you win those games. So
Yeah, it feels super, super good to win. We've had a few wins. After our first win, we won the next one, so we started off with 2 in a row.
Really?
So that was pretty cool. No, I want to address some things I've seen in chat. Usually we hold off on chat till the end, but there's some people talking about the same thing. There is a video floating around. I haven't seen it yet, but I have heard of this before on other games, which is skill-based like hit reg and stuff. I just want to say, I'm not saying any other like one way or the other, but something we have to keep in mind. And I don't know, Buff, do you play with the latency on your screen, like your ping?
I mean, I put the connection meter on every time I get on the play, and it never shows up. So I don't know. Also, I mean, speaking of bugs, my PS5 settings reset every single time. So I got to go in and reset all of my settings manually every time I boot up the game. So the connection meter, I'll turn it on, doesn't ever work. So I don't know. I mean, I would love to see it. I turn it on, but I never see it. So.
And they're saying potentially skill-based footsteps. I need to watch this. I'm not saying an opinion one way or the other, but I have noticed the pings on the servers are all over the place, and this is almost every single match. So even if you find a server that like feels decent, if you watch the ping, you can. I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen. I'm showing like a VOD from my Twitch. I don't know what I'm doing in my stream, by the way. Like, what's this guy's problem? He's weird. But the ping is like all what the fuck was I doing? Anyway, I drink a lot when I stream on Twitch, so just don't worry about it.
A lot of bourbon.
What about that timing? So anyway, the ping up there is like, so I'll usually hover around like 40 to 60, but like every minute or so it'll go up to like 200. I mean, you can kind of see it all over the place. At least you can see it going from like two digits to 3. So there is some of that. I don't notice it near as much in 6v6 because I wish I had some hair to reveal, Teddy. There is no hair there. I wish I had some. But yeah, so I'm getting old. My hair's going in the top and coming out other places. It's great. It'll happen to you someday. Don't make fun of me. So yeah, you just saw it turn red there when I looked at the map, but I play a lot of search and destroy. So at nights on Twitch, I've been having so much fun still playing S&D. This game is like so good for S&D.
Yeah.
And I haven't noticed it as much there, but I do know there is no doubt there's not skill-based matchmaking, because like we usually do pretty well on search. We've had some 8 to 10 game win streaks on search, and like it gets really sweaty. I haven't noticed that stuff, but I'll definitely keep an eye on it. I have had some shots not hit, and I just attribute it to you can see the ping just turned red there. But it's even in servers that feel okay, it's just all over the place. At least in Warzone, DMZ and 6v6 aren't as bad.
Yeah, I did notice. Some things I do notice also are like some long range shots. I mean, your sniping there I can't really see if that's the right. I mean, sometimes you'll see it where the character model is like not rendering that far away, so they're just LOD. They're frozen in like a run stance and just sliding around. So that makes like long range sniping difficult, because I'm shooting at what I'm seeing, but I'm not confident that person's actually where I'm seeing that thing moving around. So at some point, there's like a certain distance where I don't even bother sniping. And it sucks because go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just feel like there are a lot of server issues and netcode issues with this game. Just the other day when we were playing DMZ, was in a Jeep, and my buddy Hydra was driving, and we were going alongside the train, and we were past the train on his screen, and he thought he was past it, and he went in and slammed into it.
Oh my God.
And like on his screen he was past it, so he hit record, and then I hit record, and we watched it each, and on his screen he was past the train. And on my screen, he ran into the side of it. And on the server side, he ran into the side of it. So that's how much desync there was. So like there's just,
that's crazy.
yeah, there's glitches kind of everywhere. And there's
the
a
footstep
case.
audio seems inconsistent too. I mean, I don't know if
I
you've
have
noticed
noticed
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It's
it does show in the kill cam. Sometimes when I die, I'm like, they had to have dead silence, but it shows if they have it activated, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
But also on the kill cams, I'm like, man, I can hear myself stomping around like crazy, but this dude sprints up behind me and jumps and shit, and I can't hear anything. It's just like, I don't know if it's a kill cam thing, but I when I like I said, I played that one game of 66 today, and it happened multiple times where like the kill cam, the guy can hear me coming, and then dude sprint on the and then on another kill cam where I die, the dude sprints up behind me, like jumps and then is right behind me, like running around and kills me, and I don't hear a thing. So I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if they did something with the footsteps. I don't know if it's a connection thing. I really enjoyed how footsteps were in the beta, and sometimes it works fine. Other times I can't hear it. So I don't know, weird, but it definitely seems like you can always hear yourself clear as day in a kill cam, but you can't. But I can never hear anyone else, a lot of the time. So that's
Yeah.
definitely some frustrating stuff too. I've died to that a couple times.
Yeah, we've had
Warzone
some,
also.
like IG saying on my Twitch stream, we've had some straight up, just like the enemies are doing that glide thing where they're not moving, even closer than it should have been, and you can't hit them. You can just shoot through them. So I'm not saying there. So two things I want to say. Not saying there isn't some of that weird stuff going on, because Activision does have some shady ass patents when it comes to engagement based algorithms. There are some weird stuff that you guys can go look up. The other thing is, it's going to be really, really hard to investigate this when the servers and netcode and desync are as shoddy as it is right now.
Right.
The other thing is, this is what I was talking about earlier in the podcast, when if Call of Duty did do something like this, to do like really shitty game mechanics that had a super complex algorithm to keep people playing, to decide who wins gunfights, to keep you playing, to keep you spending money on microtransactions. That's why I worry about the monopoly they have in the first person shooter genre. What are you gonna do? Are you still gonna play it? Probably. And that's what sucks about not having another large competitor, because they can do shady shit like that, and we don't have any other options. So there's options, but I mean, the masses don't have another options. I'll go play Siege, or I'll go play Battlefield, or I'll go play Squad, or Tarkov. But yeah, I don't know. that is true. Have you got any kills from people using game chat, and you hear their prox chat, so you know where they're at, and then you can kill them? That's been pretty funny.
I only keep prox chat on for DMZ. I don't really like to use it in Warzone, because like I'm communicating with my team so much. I don't want to. We're always calling out stuff. I'm just gonna give away my position. But DMZ, I've been like, I hear people. Yeah, I'm like, yo, are you friendly? Like, yeah, we're friendly. We're just doing quests. I'm like, all right, cool. We'll let you go then. And I mean, that's fun. But other times, if like they don't respond, there's been a couple of times where like people don't respond. You know, they don't have proxy on.
You got to put them down.
And yeah, you gotta put them down, man. You don't have time for that. Too much Tarkov flashbacks there. If you're not saying you're friendly and going the other way, I'm gonna dump. I'm gonna mag dump that Mark 17 into you, and that's it.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, this game here, I purposely selected this clip on Twitch because we did win this game. So there's a nice little rotate here at the end. Okay, so we need to keep talking about COD so people can watch it. But yeah,
Speaking of, I don't know when you did this, but I did cover in a conversion the RPK 203 the other day, and I mean, you're kind of using it. So I'm not saying you watched the video and then copied my build or anything, but I don't know. I mean, I think Chad can put two and two together.
The RPK is solid. It is really nice in Warzone and DMZ. It feels really good. I haven't tried it in DMZ yet, or not DMZ, Search and Destroy yet, but I should.
I love it with the 40 round mag attachment. Even a 30 round, saves you the weight. It's nice.
Oh, I like to have extra bullets. I had the 70,
there you
75. Go. But yeah, the prox chat has been really funny because we're always in Discord, so I have my prox chat on push to talk if I do want to talk to somebody.
Oh, there you go.
But the rest of the time they can't hear me. Here's where the bullets come in handy. And then I have heard people with open mics before. Like I heard one guy like breathing into his mic and he was hiding in a bush and I was able to kill him because I heard him in the bush. So it was really funny. But yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, it's all right. You gotta get that stuff figured out. And he learned the hard way. So yeah, anything else about COD?
No, I mean, I'm having a good time in DNZ doing the challenges. I'm on tier 3 for one, finishing up tier 2 on another. So I haven't unlocked the final PMC faction yet. Having a good time with that, jumping in. I love DMZ, and again, firefights. Firefights are awesome, and just, you know, with me and the gunsmith, I sit in there, do some tuning, and then go in the fire range quite a bit. So if you guys see me on, that's typically I'm just goofing around in the firing range and the gunsmith like a nerd. So.
Yeah, you have a lot of really cool conversion videos, and like, I mean, there's no lack of content for you.
So yeah, there's a lot there.
I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, the proc chat has been really funny too. Just like shit talking somebody. Like if they're like, you want to be friendly, and they're like, nope. And so like, all right, we're coming in. And there's just some funny stuff. And like they said, like Squid said over on Twitch, Doc has some really funny videos. Doc did also get banned. So be careful what you're saying on the game chat. Doc did he get banned
for COD? Really?
Yeah, he got banned for a couple weeks.
What?
For what he said, and then
oh my God.
Yeah, but he just bought another account and kept playing, so it's like not a big deal. But it's kind of funny. Doc did get banned.
So. What did he? Can you allude to what he said, or do we need to go check it out ourselves?
It says he got banned 7 days for excessive proximity chat. So like he was just chatting, he was just using it a lot, I guess. So I don't know.
That's definitely a Doc thing. So expect nothing less.
Yeah. So yeah, he was talking a lot. So I'm guessing just a bunch of people, because I think there's kind of an automated system. If people report you a lot, I kind of think it gives you a suspension anyway. So I'm guessing it's Doc. So people were trolling him, and a bunch of people reported it. So.
Yeah, that's stupid, but also kind of funny.
That's what I'm guessing. And then the other thing, so me and my buddy Walt got that win right there. His game crashed right there, so he didn't get credit for it. So that's
shit.
So I mean,
so you're like, yeah, I'm a good job, man. And he's like,
yeah,
nice I didn't get it.
And then his game crashes and it kicks him out. Oh, cheers with the bourbon. That's right.
So is this was a quad, and you can see at the end he's already gone here, right?
He's still in the thing. It still shows him, but
okay. But
they were saying on Iron Stream that if you don't watch the whole thing, it doesn't count on your stats as a win. So they won like 8 because it's Iron. They won like 8 or 9 times before they realized that it didn't count them. So like they had to...
What the hell, dude? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I always stay to the end scoreboard so I can look at the kills and everything, and then I leave after that.
Yep, good. So they're counting for you then. So that's something you need to pay attention to.
Good. Good.
So yeah, what wonderful timing. You want to talk about a couple indie games?
You're damn right I do.
Yeah, you do. So this is where we're gonna go, guys. If Call of Duty does some crazy stuff with their skill-based hit reg and stuff, all right. These are some options. So there's just a couple indie games I wanted to talk about. They could have got their own segment, but I wanted to talk about them on here. Just kind of put them together. 2 indie games in particular that we're really keeping our eye on. One of those you're familiar with, and one of them you might not be so familiar with. So we've talked almost every week about Road to Vostok. That game is doing a lot of stuff. And again, Anti, the developer of it, put out some really, really cool stuff with it. You can see a new work in progress video. And then today, or was yesterday or today? I think it was yesterday. He was doing a live stream talking about development again. So you could actually see there were some things that he's going to add to the game that I thought were really interesting in this work in progress video. You can see some of the actual IRL footage that he took for modeling smoke and lights and stuff at night, how gunfire and muzzle blast interact at night. This is some of the new maps. He showed an overall map of like all the stuff coming to the game. And then in this clip right here, you can see him going inside the shipyard silo, and the audio is just really cool. So I encourage you guys, if you're interested in this game, like we are, to definitely go and check that out. Again, this is going to be a solo FPS survival shooter moving around the map on the road to Vostok. the audio is so cool. He has reverb zones, so it's like the echo. So like standing outside, the gunfire sounds different. When he goes inside, footsteps and everything echo inside of that. So it's really cool. The other thing I caught a few minutes of his dev stream, and he was talking about the different spots on the map. So he's gonna add a couple more maps to the demo before too long, and then there's a new looting system. And to get from one map to the other, there's going to be these border crossing zones that are going to be hard to get through. So like if you want to go to the other map, and he said there's going to be some other aspects of the game, not just shooting. There's going to be some platforming and movement stuff you have to do to like jump across and maneuver through to get to these other maps and across these crossing zones. So just a really unique game, a lot of stuff. And also congratulations to him. He won a large business it's talking about it on here, a business contest in his home country, and he won that and putting the proceeds back into the game.
Awesome.
So just really cool stuff happening from a solo developer. And again, every month you can see the progress in these videos. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I love those updated videos every time he does stuff. And yeah, I mean, we've talked about it, and he's been in the chat before a couple times and gave us that clip last week. But yeah, I mean, the game, he's a solo developer and the game looks awesome. So that's something I'm excited to get my hands on eventually and play through the full thing. He's doing a great job with that. So
yep. So definitely, yeah. I was just gonna say, definitely wishlisted on Steam. That doesn't cost you anything and helps him out. And if you are really feeling strongly about it, does have a Patreon where you can monetarily support. But it's just really neat what they're working on. Again, those are impact physics that he's adding, where you can shoot items and they move and react to the bullets. And then I don't know, it's just really cool. There's going to be a lot of detail in this game. It's going to be one of those things where there's not going to be multiplayer, at least at first, but it's really going to be pushing for immersion and really cool details and stuff that's not been done in games before. I still think the radio that he's going to do is super, super cool.
Yeah, I love that idea.
So yeah, looking forward to that. But I just want to let you know there is another work in progress video for you guys to check out and see what all he's worked on in the last month. And it's pretty astonishing, because I remember watching him actually starting to model these silos too in one of his things. And he also talked a little bit about the modding community, as well as pretty much all the assets and everything is going to be used or like going to be free for other people to use. So he really wants a strong modding community as well. So just really neat. He doesn't plan on making anything behind a paywall.
Good. Yeah. So, I mean, he's doing a great job, man. I can't wait to get him on the show someday. And like I said, play through it. It's one of those ones I think both you and I are really looking forward to.
It's going to be fun. The different handguards come on the barrels, Teddy. It doesn't change too much what you can attach to them, but if I'm not mistaken, right, on the RPK and COD, you can use, I think they're attached to the barrels. Change the handguards. At least the one I was using. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was bigfry's game. How he announced when it's going to be revealed.
Okay, sweet.
So there's a new clip. We'll go over these really quick. We've probably seen these before. We did see, if you are a follower of the program, you've probably seen this clip. Some of the only footage ever shown of the game has been showed on the scope from bigfry's shooter, but you can see some of these detailed images, screenshots. We've seen this, but he did put out a new, did I lose it? Oh, a new screenshot. This is it. And it looks pretty cool. So that is going to be revealed. The trailer is going to be revealed December 7th. So coming up on it, he talked about how he was working on Twitter. He was working on putting it together, the trailer and everything, and it's looking pretty cool. So really interesting that bigfry, who, if you have followed his stuff, has notoriously been critical of games that don't release very well. So I think it takes a little bit of balls to put your hat in the ring and do some of that, and kind of put yourself out there after you've been critical of others. He's going to try his hand at developing. So massive kudos to that. And I think a lot of people will be watching. I think there's potentially going to be some haters watching too, and kind of hoping for it fails. If that's you, just stop it. Don't suck. Don't be like that. But yeah, it's going to be sweet.
Yeah, I mean, so far it looks really good from what we've seen. I'm really excited to see, some good gameplay with this. I'm loving the weapons, the environment, and I can't wait to hear more about this from Big Fry over on his channel, and whenever the reveal is there, December 6th or 7th, he said. So that'll be
December
really
7th.
good. Definitely 7th, yeah, definitely be keeping an eye out on that. And like you said, yeah, I've been following him for a couple of years just because I love how brutally honest he is, and he's a guy that will give credit where credit's due, and he will call you out for bullshit, which is what I like. So what's
Would you
that
see
on the
that?
top?
Did you see that?
Big Fry joining us on December 12th episode. Oh snap! You guys
That's right.
better get ready, because I'm sure
Yeah.
that's after the reveal. So he's gonna give us gonna go in depth with everything, I'm sure, on that show.
Yep. So that's the other thing. If you guys have been paying attention to the toxic ticker above, Big Fry will be joining the show on the 12th. So 5 days after the reveal, he's going to come on and talk about that. The show should be at the normal time on all the normal channels, so you guys won't want to miss that. We'll actually be able to talk to Big Fry about what he's learned in game development and heading the team. And I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about how his teams work together and how they've put all this stuff together. So it's going to be a really awesome episode of The Scope where we're going to be honored to be joined by Big Fry. So it's going to be really cool and get to the bottom of it. It's going to be some good journalism. That's good journalism. Okay, we're going right to the source. So really, really excited for December 12th. So you guys hopefully are too. So we'll get to the bottom of it with the man himself. He'll be here. So
Pumped.
Cool. Are you ready for everyone's favorite part of the show?
I know I am.
Quick shots, baby. That never
Hell
gets
yeah.
old, right? Never.
Never.
Yeah. Never. Okay, good. Glad it's not getting old for you guys. So this is interesting and out of nowhere completely. Off-World Industries is working on, the people who develop Squad are working on a new first-person shooter based on the 1990s critically acclaimed film Starship Troopers. Did you see this?
Ooh. No, but I love to hear it, because Starship Troopers, the movie, starts with the original one. The other ones were garbage. The original one, awesome, iconic movie, love it. I can watch that thing over and over.
So yeah, this is kind of funny. A 12-player co-op. So it's gonna be 12-player co-op against you guessed it, probably the bug aliens. And it's going to be hit Steam in early access in 2023. So this is a VGC article. It's been reported at other places. But yeah, the Canadian developer and publisher behind Squad and also Beyond the Wire is coming out with Starship Troopers Extermination. And there's the teaser trailer that can be viewed here, hopefully after this ad. We should probably find it on. We can do this.
How did I miss this news?
I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy because it's like, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. I mean, it'll kind of lead right into it, but we're also going to talk a little bit about Squad too. That game has been like pushing out content. And so now they're like doing this other shooter, which I don't know, man. It could be kind of fun and a little bit of a nostalgia kick for folks my age that watch this. And I mean, even the movie kind of garnered a little bit of fame too from the I did my part meme a little bit, you know?
Right. That's the only teaser I needed right there. That told me everything I need to know. And if you guys haven't seen the movie, I think it's on Netflix, depending on where you are. The most iconic part of that movie for me, and Crash, if you've always seen the movie, so you can probably relate, when they land on Clendathu, that whole like drops ship scene. Oh my God. Talk about the music. You're just like, if you guys want to get pumped up, watch the Clendathu drop scene, and God, it's your heartbeat's gonna go through the roof. So get ready.
You'll be running through walls.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you don't need pre-workout, you need to just watch that scene, and then you're going to the gym. Period.
Yep. So I mean, that's all I can say about that at this point. Keep an eye out for that. It looks hilarious, and I'm definitely gonna be playing that. If nothing else, for the memes, it would be pretty fun. And with a 12-person co-op, like getting 12 people on a Discord call, like it could be pretty funny.
So, I mean, I can see it being like a. I mean, the best thing it'd be like a wave type type co-op experience, right? If you just fight enough like waves and waves of bugs, and there was that one outpost scene in the movie where they're fighting off swarms and swarms of bugs at that outpost. So like that's be almost like a zombies type style gameplay, I guess, right? Where you're getting just rushed by multiple enemies and overwhelmed. So I mean, if you're 12-player co-op teamwork right there, it's gonna be good. I'm excited for that.
Yep. And I guess it can't be. I mean, if we're really digging into this, I have a screen. Sorry, podcast listener. I have a screen pulled up that shot that's in the article, but you can see some missions up in the top left. So maybe there's a little bit more to it than just like a wave-based zombie type shooter.
Yeah.
It says deliver gas to the Ark, build a refinery, and hit tab to open the mission log. And there's an infestation level and stuff like that.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
There
really
could
cool.
there could be more stuff to it that meets the eye. Maybe it'll be
who do I
send
my money to, Crash? Can we update that in the ticker so I can write a check?
We could potentially wish list it on Steam. I don't know if it's up for wish listing yet, but it's supposed to come to Steam. So we'll need to look into that and see where you guys can get your money, because I know it's burning a hole in your pocket and you're ready to spend it. So
would you like to hear more?
Probably 4 easy payments of $19.99.
Yeah.
All right. The next thing we're keeping. So this is essentially an Off-World Industries edition of the quick shots. I just wanted to take a quick shout out to Squad, the other shooter that's done by them that a lot of you folks probably know about. Squad, since we talked last, Squad 3.5 has come out, and patch 4.0 is about to be out, announcing the new PLA, People's Liberation Army, on December 7th. So this game, if you're interested in like super crazy teamwork like I talked about, and more of a milsim, bit of like a milsim side of Battlefield, this is for you. 3.4 brought a new map that looks really cool in Finland, set in Finland.
Wow.
There's some more information and stuff on their website that talk about like how they designed the map and stuff like that. So it's really cool. And it's just a game that if you're interested in something like that, generally my experience with Squad when I've gotten in there is, someone that doesn't have a lot of experience with it, is if you find a server where it says new folks are welcome, you can get in a Squad and ask questions. And a lot of times people will be super nice and help you. You can run around on the Squad. And I haven't played it a ton. But I've played a few hours of Squad and had some incredibly intense moments. But they're up to 9 factions and 23 maps, and their maps are big. So
talk about a live service. Maybe our good friends over at Battlefield should try something like that.
Hey, huh? How about that? Who'd have thought?
Yeah,
but
who knew?
Yep.
Yeah, Squad's awesome, dude. I bought it and downloaded it, and I installed the MEE mod, which is the Middle Eastern Escalation mod, which is like the base game with a lot more. It has more factions, weapons. So like instead of just like the Russians, you get like Spetsnaz Alpha Group, and they have like completely Zenikoed out like AK-105 Alpha AKs and like PKP Pecheneg. So they mod all the weapons and stuff, and talk about you're just in there and just like, holy shit, this is crazy, the amount of detail not only the base game has, but the modding community just going ham with the stuff. So if you guys haven't checked it out, Squad, go ahead and look at it online. But if you really want to see some extra spicy stuff, the MEE mod gameplay you guys can find there, Middle Eastern Escalation. That's one of the many mods, but that's actually one of the more popular, if not the most popular mod out there. So for Squad, really, really cool. Adds more factions, but I mean, just like you said, the base game has so much, and they keep going. When did Squad come out? How many years of support are we on for this?
I want to say 2018.
Yeah,
was it sooner?
I think it was I think it was before. I could be wrong, but yeah, someone can fact check us.
Hey, let's get the production team on it.
Yeah, production team.
2015, December 14th, 2015.
Yeah, okay. I thought it'd been out for a while. Yeah, so that's again right along the lines with like your other game there that you love, Siege. The support keeps coming.
7 years, both popular.
Of them. Yeah, very popular.
I'm gonna get back into Siege a little bit just to see how the Rank 2.0 system works out. It's gonna be a new kind of ranked system.
Yeah, we covered that last week. That sounds really good.
Try that. But I think even though they're games that like maybe not a ton of people put time into. I want to give credit where it's due. I know I'm just, like I said, a FPS stooge on the internet. No one really cares. I just really appreciate games that do this. I
Yeah.
really appreciate games that keep coming with the content. And you can tell it's just, they're made by teams that care and want people to keep playing and enjoy it. And it's like, I don't know, it's kind of to the point where they're probably, the reason I appreciate it is because at this point with games like Siege and games like Squad, there comes a point where they're probably not making the content to sell any more games. They'll probably still sell a few and still make money, but this free content they're making out of appreciation to the fans and the people that are still playing the game. And I just appreciate that a lot. So we'll keep talking about them because it's cool. And maybe some folks will, you know, when they come out with this new stuff, jump into it and check them out because they are cool. Like I said, I've had some really interesting times on Squad because it's all about the voice chat. It's all about the communication. If you guys haven't played it, there's a commander channel with the overall commander. He talks to all the squad leads on a separate audio channel and tells the squads where to go, what sectors to hold like that. And then the commander will tell the individual squad where to go, what to do. And then there's also prox chat. So you hear people calling out for medics and it's directional, like you can hear them. And then there's like a squad radio, so you can be on the radio with your squad, and your leader can switch channels. Like, hold on, I got to go talk to command, and they'll switch over and see what we need to do, and then come back and relay. It's just really neat.
Yeah.
I've just had some stuff where we dropped in behind enemy lines. Like, it just feels like movies sometimes. Like, dropped in behind enemy lines in a helicopter, and all the vegetation and stuff's blowing out, and you get out, you start taking fire, and everybody's yelling, and with the prox chat, it's like, holy shit, like. This is going down and you're fighting it out, and there's just some really cool stuff in Squad. So if you guys haven't tried it, hopefully I'm not talking out of my ass, and there still are some servers that are welcoming new players. It usually says in the server title.
And there are. Everyone was really friendly when I joined and started playing. I was like, hey guys, I have no idea what I'm doing. And it's funny because, like, you know, those people that say like, oh, go play Squad or Arma. I mean, this game is like another layer of complicated. Like you just said with the radio channels and stuff, like there's a huge learning curve to this game, but that doesn't mean you can't get in and just play without knowing what you're doing and still have fun, because you definitely can, and people will walk you through it. But there's, you know, we talk about depth in a game. This one has a lot of it, that's for sure.
For multiplayer. Yep. And I think we'll probably hold off another week or two on covering what's coming to Tarkov and when. There's still some stuff in motion with Tarkov. We usually get a Christmas wipe, so there's going to be some crazy stuff, events wise potentially coming, and then maybe Streets of Tarkov again by the end of the year. So there's some stuff with that game as well that we'll still talk about. But as of now, we'll keep covering the big stuff, keep covering the indie stuff, and really looking forward to Big Fry's reveal and talking to him on the 12th. So it'll be an awesome guest to have.
Yeah, that'll be good.
So yeah, I think with that we have a little bit of time for chat Q&A. Do you have some time, Buff? You good?
Yep, let's do it.
Yeah, so if you guys have any chat Q&A, that also means if there's anything you just want to say conversationally, some points to talk about, we got a few minutes to do so. While you guys are coming up with the questions, I just want to say thank you so much for chatting, being a part of the show on the screen. Thank you guys so much for listening on the podcast. Again, the last couple episodes have had like over 50 downloads, so I've been absolutely blown away. We don't really promote the audio version of it very much, so it's just crazy. People are still downloading it. If you are finding us on those podcast platforms, head over to Buff or my YouTube channel link below, and you can catch us live. We'd love to chat with you on the video. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for being flexible, moving it back a day. Really appreciate that. And we'll get the VOD and the pod up ASAP. Hopefully I'll have those up tomorrow.
Absolutely. And I just, while we're waiting for some of the questions to come in, I don't know. I don't think Chase or some of the members from my community made it out today, but we had a pretty crazy win. Sindalo, Chase, and Jug and I, it was fun. So again, talking about Warzone, DMZ, I'm having a blast, and especially like with some of the battle rifles. I know, Crash, you were loving the G3 in the beta, and I was too. I actually have not touched it at all since the game release, since I played it so much in the beta. I've been running one of the two Warzone guns I've been running are the Icarus 556, which is the Fight Light MCR, which I'm loving, and the Mark 17 or the Scar Heavy. And I think I finally got like those builds down to a point where like they're very very viable in a lot of situations. But I mean, it took me a couple weeks to like figure out, recoil and try to make the right build for kind of the specific firefights, and kind of like it does almost everything in some situations. So that's, again, we talk about depth in games. I think that's what I really enjoy about Warzone here, and DMZ also, is just, there's a whole layer to it with the amount of attachments. There's a lot of things that are similar, and you can really customize things the way you want, which is just a lot of fun.
Yep. It's been a pleasant surprise. IGI asked, what single item would you each like to see in a game? That's a really good question. Because there's like
Item meaning I'm curious, defining like just anything in general, or
if we're talking items, I want to see that right there. I want to see a Henry Model X 357 suppressed lever action with a Romeo 5 point sight on it. That's what I want to see. But as far as like game mechanics and stuff like that, there's like individual games that have really cool mechanics, but like not all in one place. So
yeah,
I don't know. I love the day-night cycle and the detail in Tarkov. I really like the smoothness of gunplay in COD right now. I love the graphics of like Battlefield 5. So it's like a bunch of different stuff. But yeah, AC-130 specific rifle game mechanics. Yeah, I would say I want to see that. I would like to see, and maybe there are some, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't think of it. More like pistol carbine type guns, because I've gotten into that in real life.
yeah.
Like the Ruger PC9 and
Mhm.
and my Henry 357, like traditionally a pistol caliber, and they're a lot of fun to shoot. It would be really cool to see some stuff like that, some uh pistol caliber type rifles in games. It'd be pretty neat. I think they're fun.
Absolutely. I think I just want my M60 Echo 6s, and I'll be happy.
Boom.
Simple.
Off topic, but what do you guys think of the 13 remake in terms of weapon details, reload animations? I think it has really good details and reload animation.
I'm
What
not
game?
familiar. I'm not familiar with that. The 13 remake. So what
X.
is?
What is? Are we dumb? What are we missing something?
Yeah, I don't know, man. We might be stupid.
But yeah, I want to see more modern lever actions. I think you can do some really cool builds with those. I think they're neat. Oh, another thing I want to see. Here we go. I want to see a more accurate representation of subsonic versus supersonic ammo and suppressors
Ooh, there you
with
go. Yeah.
audio wise, because it's a massive difference. Occasionally can kind of hear in Tarkov, you really get a sense for weapon cracking in squad. But yeah, I would like to see a more substantial difference in the audio between subsonic and supersonic ammo when you're shooting a
Mhm.
suppressor, because that's one of the craziest things I've learned from shooting suppressed weapons is like how much louder they are when they're supersonic.
Right.
What are we missing,
Yeah.
man? There's a remake of what is that?
I mean, I'm just googling it. It looks like it was a 2002 original, and now 2000. I might be. Yeah. We need some more context. I don't even know if I'm looking at the right thing. An old PlayStation 2 title that's like kind of cartoony, but this looks like probably the one. I haven't heard of it until now, if I'm looking at the right thing. So it's like cartoony. It's like a cartoon graphic game FPS. But I would need to watch the footage to see. I mean, I'm seeing definitely some modern weapons in here, which looks cool. But definitely, good. We're gonna need to investigate that.
I was a great shooter that largely thinks associated aesthetic based French comic, cult classic. Huh. Okay, I'm learning about it. Make it 2020.
Okay, yeah. So I think that's the right one I'm looking at. It looks like the comic. It looks like a comic book kind of thing, almost, but FPS.
Hmm.
It,
It looks
it
like
looks
there's
cool. I'm gonna need to watch gameplay for it.
it looks like there's one on the there's a trailer on the Nintendo Switch. Hmm. All right. Well, we learned something. So with that being said, I don't have a lot of strong feelings on it right now. Having just learned about it. That's awesome. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, we'll check that out.
Yeah, we're gonna need to look at it.
I would say it's before my time, but it really wasn't.
I know, right? Chris asked if we've played Mass Effect ever. I personally have not. I always enjoy the trailers and stuff, but every time it came out, I was like, I'm somebody that really only played Battlefield until I played Call of Duty. So it's just,
Yeah,
I'm a simple man. My Fortnite addiction, but we won't talk about that. But I'm pretty simple. I don't play that many games.
Yeah, I'm the same. I haven't played any of those. Watched them, familiar with them, but I haven't played them. I'm an FPS stooge, so I pretty much just play FPS games like exclusively. Yep. The only other ones I played is I tried to get into Elden Ring and couldn't, and I've played a little bit of New World MMO, but I couldn't stick with them. So I think I'm just stuck playing FPSs forever.
Well, 13 is on looks like there's some discounts going on Steam for some sales. So with DOS X also and some other things. So maybe
Deus Ex.
Anyone's interested.
There was some other autumn sale stuff that was good. There's going to be some Battlefield sales too. So I know you can get another copy for your other platforms. So Battlefield 2042. So
that's the first thing I'm doing for sure.
I know you're going to spend all your Thanksgiving money on Thanksgiving money's not even a thing. I just made it up. On 2042. You can't start a trend. Let's get it going.
Yeah, everyone gets Thanksgiving money.
I'm too old.
Hashtag government pay us. Huh?
I'm too old for anybody to give me money anymore. So those days are behind me. IG says he's having trouble stacking walls in COD. Well, don't do that because you're not supposed to. That's Buff's the expert of doing that in Fortnite. You have to go play Fortnite with him. It's just building walls like crazy over there.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm just a freak of nature is all I can say.
Yeah, he's nasty on the Fortnite. Yeah. So don't forget
Ninja's got nothing on Buff. Just
it's true.
Get out of the way.
Novo. I can't speak for Buff, but if you want to, my Discord, and I'm sure Buff's the same. Probably the easiest way to talk to us is on our respective Discords. I would love to check that out. So please join my Discord. Link should be down below, and then there's a scope channel in there, and you can post it in there. There's also a media sharing channel anywhere, and I'll see it. I try to keep up on what everybody's talking about in the Discord. So I don't know, Buff might be the same.
I always tell people like my social media links and everything like that and Discord are always in my descriptions of my videos, and I always tell people just message me directly. That way I'm sure to see it. And if I don't answer you, don't take it personally. Just keep bugging me until I do, because sometimes I can't get to everything, or I'm in the middle of something and like I just miss it. So if I don't get to it, don't be afraid to continuously message me until I see it.
Yep, Twitter or Discord, but all of our stuff is in the links below. Buff and mine. So yep. No, I want to check that out. I want to investigate that a little bit more. And then I might try to do some research on some patents and things and see if that lines up with some of that stuff with the hit rate and things like that.
Space Ninja says, go for it.
Sorry, IGI sent over a $10 super chat, some Thanksgiving money for you.
See, you said you were too old for it. There you go.
I am. I'll have to give it back to him somehow. Too old for that. Dude, thank you so much. You don't got to do that, man. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. And happy belated Thanksgiving, even though you guys celebrated on a different day in the north.
Space Ninja says Ghost Recon Breakpoint Gold Edition is also on sale. So that'll be, if you're looking to get that one, go for it. Personally, I enjoyed the I felt much more grounded in Wildlands. And if nobody's played Wildlands, try and watch some gameplay, because there's been a lot of times in DMZ and even Warzone where you're driving one of those cars and I'm just like, man, am I playing Wildlands right now? Because it's like a very similar vibe, which I loved with some of the areas of the map. So really, really cool. Those games are great.
Yep, definitely. I'm just pulling this up. I'm gonna have to watch these a little bit later from Novo. But yeah, I want to look into that. I really appreciate that, Novo. Thanks for doing that, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we gotta get to the bottom of this. Okay, we gotta have some good journalism going on out here. But yeah, I've had some weird clips too. I should look at those, and I've definitely noticed the footsteps thing. But I just I'm inclined to chalk it up to weird netcode stuff that's going on right now. But
Have you noticed in the firing range? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but maybe some of the other folks out there, including yourself, have experienced in the firing range. Sometimes, like, whether it's the farthest target, I think it's at like 55 meters or whatever, or maybe the middle target. Sometimes I'll full auto some targets and like don't get the hit markers where you should get the hit markers, even if I'm single firing. Sometimes like you just don't get a registered hit. I'm curious if that's can be somehow related to in game, like not getting hit markers or counting hits. I don't know what it is, but I've definitely experienced it a lot. I haven't really noticed it that much in actual gameplay because with all the atmospheric sound, it's kind of hard to hear your hit marker. But in the firing range, I'm clearly, if I'm in single fire trying to tap fire the far target to see, accuracy, blah, 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 like some shots just simply like should be center mass and it just doesn't give me a hit marker. So I don't know
yeah, that's a lot
if
of
anyone's
Novo's
looked at that
clips.
too. Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, some of
Yeah.
them there and some of them. Dude, Nova, thank you for the $5 super chat, dude. Really appreciate that. Incredibly kind.
Epic.
You don't got to do that, dude, but thank you. Yeah, I'll have to look at those clips because I've had some weird stuff like that too. If you don't mind me asking, like, what's your KD? Like, is your KD pretty high? Like, would that be? Are you like a high score per minute player or wins or? You don't have to say if you don't feel comfortable divulging such personal information.
Well, if I'm noticing it in the firing range, I'm curious. If other people have played around the firing range and they're seeing that too, I'm wondering if that's related or just the test dummies in firing range are goofy. Because I notice sometimes if you're firing at it when the target's coming back up after you've knocked it down, until it's fully in place, you won't get hit markers. So, but definitely some stuff you should get hit markers on, and I don't get them. Like
you definitely should. Those are weird. So, yeah, we gotta figure that out and try to investigate it because that's weird. And then so far I've seen stuff like you guys have, and I've just kind of chalked it up in my head to netcode problems going on. But,
yeah, same. So,
anyway, guys, I think that might be a show if I'm not mistaken.
Love it. Yeah, I think so.
All right, that was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for all your questions. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for listening us to he says a 3KD. All right, yeah, that's pretty good. You should you should also pay attention to when I go live or in my LFG channel because you would be a great member of my search and destroy team. Come on, let's play. 3KD, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm kidding, but seriously. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Buff, thank you for taking the time to do it.
Absolutely.
Means a lot. People come listen to me ramble about video games. I don't know why you do it, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next Monday.
Let's do it. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.